Good morning friends, welcome once again to PSIR Analytica. Myself Nikhil Gowda, the Political Science and International Relations faculty at InsightsIAS. So today we will be discussing the question on the Marxist perspective of the Indian national movement. So let us look into what exactly is the demand of the question. The question is asking you to discuss the Marxist perspective of the Indian national movement for 10 marks and you have to write within 150 words. So, how to approach this particular question? You have to bring in your answers the different viewpoints given by different Marxist scholars, that how do they reflect upon the Indian national movement. So, in this 10 marker question you cannot bring everybody, try to bring 2 or 3 perspectives which is critical of Indian National Congress Gandhi, and try to bring 2 viewpoints which disagrees with the views which have been presented. Now, I will show you how it can be done. So, in your introduction part, you can start off by saying is that Indian national movement can be seen through various lenses, such as the nationalist perspective, the British historian perspective, and one such perspective is the Marxist perspective. And you can see the Marxist perspective is reflected by various Marxist scholars. You can start with M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy in his book India in Transition, he says that Indian national movement represented the political ideology and the aspiration of the youthful bourgeois. So basically M.N. Roy is trying to say here the ideology of the main political party, that is the Indian National Congress, it was mainly representing the political ideology and aspirations of youthful bourgeois. So this is one point you can write. Secondly, because this is 10 marker question, you can't go on explaining what he meant. The examiner will understand if you present the viewpoint. The second view you can bring is of R.P. Dutt, who in his work India Today he attacks the Indian National Congress. He says that the initial period of the Indian National Congress, it mainly represented the social base. It represented by the big bourgeois. So basically what the 2 viewpoints are trying to say here is that the same Marxist foundational perspective, that those who control the base, they control the superstructure. Basically Congress and the political structure represent superstructure, the social base, it is the economic control of the bourgeois. And R.P. Dutt also says that Gandhi, he also attacks Gandhi, saying that Gandhi represented, or Gandhi was the mascot of bourgeois, because most of the Gandhian techniques or Gandhian demands were capitalist nature. For example, you can give Gandhi never demanded complete abolition of the taxes in that regard. Then you can bring the viewpoint of N.M. Goldberg. Basically, he is a Soviet historian. He says that if you look at both the moderate phase and extremist phase, both were under the control of bourgeois. It was never under the control of the masses or the proletariat. So he says that the moderate leaders or the moderate phase, it was controlled by weak capitalist, supported by foreign capital, On the other hand, he says the extremists, they were controlled by petty bourgeois. And Karl Marx himself says that if you look into the 1857 revolt, 1857 revolt was reactionary in nature, and the forces which led the 1857 revolt were mainly the landlords, zamindars, and it didn't have any kind of revolutionary characteristics in that regard. But however, for the counter view within the Marxist circle is given by Bipin Chandra. So if you take Bipin Chandra, he has written a book called as The Rise and Growth of Nationalism in India. The rise and growth of nationalism in India. He disagrees with the view that Congress represented only the interest of the bourgeois. It is a very narrow way of seeing. He says that intellectuals in any society, they stand above the social base. Then you have Sumit Sarkar, who in his article The Logic of Gandhian Nationalism, in this particular article he says that it would be wrong to say Gandhi was a mascot of the bourgeois. There is no doubt that there were some interest of Gandhi tied up with the bourgeois class, but at the same time he was not a blind leader of the bourgeois. He tried to control the bourgeois also through his ideas of trusteeship in that regard. So both Sumit Sarkar and Bipin Chandra, they try to provide alternative perspective within the Marxist perspective of the Indian national movement. So in a conclusion part, you can say the Marxist perspective of the Indian national movement enables us to understand how the Indian national movement progressed, what were the forces, the social forces which controlled the movement and their interest at large. So friends, this is how you can write the answer in this part. So these are the scholars which you can make use of to articulate your answer in that regard. So all these things you can only get by having a limited notes, doing multiple revisions in that regard, and regular answer writing practice. I hope this helped you, friends. So we'll meet again tomorrow with a new question. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you.